because we don't have a commission chair, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. on August 27th. This is our Planning Commission meeting and hearing for the month of August. Thank you all for joining. Our first order of business is to appoint a Planning Commission chair and vice chair tonight. So I want to open that up for nominations, and we'll go from there.
I would like to nominate. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to nominate Anne because she has real good experience and I think she'll do a great job.
I'll second that. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. So I got a
Okay.
nomination for Commissioner Ann Peltier as, I'm guessing, as the commission chair. As second, this was by
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler, seconded by Commissioner Lapine.
I have
Yes.
a question about my nomination. Can I ask it now?
Go ahead, Ann.
I believe my term is up in December. And I don't know that, I don't know if we have any term limits at all. I don't remember that, but I've been on for 9 or 10 years.
So,
I'm
Ann,
watching.
it's Kevin. There are no term limits, and so that would not be an issue. The chair gets voted on again in January. So
Okay.
this would be filling the remaining of that term.
So do we want to vote on Ann Peltier as the commission chair?
I believe you have a motion and a second.
Yep. Let's go ahead and do a vote. All those who can, just go ahead and raise your hand or click the yes button. If you can't or to have a trouble with that, just say aye or nay.
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Great. I don't believe I heard any nays, so we have 5 in favor. So that motion passes. So can I get a nomination for vice chair?
I would like to make a motion again.
Okay.
I nominate Mark Rom as vice chair.
Do I have a second?
I second that. This is Ann.
Can I make a nomination? Can we do a second person?
I believe so.
Yes,
Um,
yes, there's no doubt. You can certainly you can do as many nominations as you want.
I want to nominate Steve Vogler.
I would like to decline that. And then I've got some medical issues going on.
Okay.
So I'd rather not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you though.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other nominations? All right, let's go ahead and vote on Commissioner Rom being the vice chair. All in favor?
I,
Do we have any opposed? All right, so we'll say the motion passes. I will now turn it over to our new Planning Commission chair, Commissioner Peltier.
okay.
I was just writing Lapine. I wasn't a preference by any means, but for meeting, if you want to lead us in the meeting approval for the meeting minutes for May 19th, I think that's the next item on the agenda. I have roll call figured out, so you're good there.
Okay. Are there any additions or corrections to the May 19th, 2020 minutes? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion.
I'll
I'll
make a
make a
motion. Oh,
Go ahead, Steve. No, go ahead, Steve. Go for it.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay. Item E, quasi-judicial public hearing. Tonight, we are holding a public hearing regarding the RENA additional sign, SP 20-01. The meeting will proceed as follows. The required disclosure will be read, staff will make a presentation, followed by the applicant, and then anyone else who wishes to address the issue will be given the opportunity. Members of the public will have 3 minutes each for testimony. Finally, there will be time for rebuttal by the applicant. Commissioners may ask questions of the applicant, staff, or anyone else who testifies. I now call to order the public hearing. Hope I don't break that. Have Jake read the disclosure statement, please.
Absolutely. All persons testifying will be deemed parties to the application and must provide their full name and mailing address. The city zoning code specifies applicable criteria to be relied upon in making a decision. Those criteria and findings of fact are in the city staff report. Public testimony should be limited to the criteria and findings of fact or to other city or state land use standards that the person testifying believes apply to the proposed land use action. Failure to raise an issue in person or in writing with sufficient detail to afford the hearing body or the applicants an opportunity to respond to that issue precludes appeal to the City Council or Land Use Board of Appeals, or to seek damages in circuit court due to a condition of approval. Before the conclusion of the initial evidentiary hearing, any applicant or any participant may ask the Planning Commission for an opportunity to present additional relevant evidence or testimony that is within the scope of the hearing. The hearing's body shall grant the request by scheduling a date to finish the hearing, a continuance, to a time and date certain, or by leaving the record open for additional evidence or testimony.
Do any members of the commission wish to declare a potential or actual conflict of interest or bias? Do any members of the commission wish to report any site visits or ex parte contacts?
I made a site visit.
Do I need to ask them if I think that'll?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Does any member of the audience, do we have an audience? Do we have anybody calling in? Okay,
We have one unknown number or identifier, but I'm not sure if that's the applicant or someone listening in.
I'll continue then. Does any member of the audience wish to challenge the jurisdiction of the commission to hear this matter? Here. Does any member of the audience wish to challenge the impartiality or ex parte disclosures of any member of the commission? All right. Mr. Straight, staff report, please.
Thank you, Chair, fellow commissioners. Matt Straight presenting tonight's agenda for the city. The project is located on Western Way, which is east of Old Salem Road and west of I-5. The zoning on the property is limited industrial, which is the same zone as the property surrounding the site. The applicant has proposed 3 signs for an existing building. This is the new tenant in an existing building. They're proposing 3 signs. 2 of those are wall signs and 1 of them is a monument sign. However, only 1 of those signs is before the Planning Commission tonight. The Planning Commission will review only 1 sign here. The 2 signs that were not under the purview of the Planning Commission tonight have already been approved because they're approvable by building permit without the need to come before the Planning Commission. But our code says that if anybody wants more signs than what's permitted by the code, they may do so with permission from the Planning Commission, which is why we have this site design review before the Planning Commission tonight for this 1 sign. So while it might seem like a lot of hullabaloo for just 1 sign, it's required by the code. This is an image of the sign itself that is under the review by the Planning Commission today. This is on the southeast side of the building. So in order to support the project tonight, we have to show that it meets the criteria from the code. And just for the sake of the fact that we have 2 new planning commissioners on the line, what we're going to go through isn't every single one of the criteria in our presentation. We're just covering the ones that we think are germane for a little bit more discussion. Some that don't apply, we just skip over for purposes of brevity during our presentation. So the first criteria we're going to talk about here discusses the comp plan and the fact that this project has to be consistent with the comprehensive plan and the state's goals, state's 19 planning goals. And in this case, our comprehensive plan is fairly silent on signs, except to say that they have to complement the structure that they're on. In this case, the size and colors of the sign will complement the structure insofar as the colors are fairly muted on this sign, and so they do a good job matching the muted red tones of the roof and the off-white color of the wall they're to be placed on. Based on staff's review, this project does not conflict with any provisions in our code. The sign before you tonight can't impact traffic in any way. In this specific case, the sign is going to be on a wall, so it's not going to impact traffic in any way. Won't create any kind of glare or any kind of obstacle for traffic to see through, so there's no issue there. So now what we're going to do is walk through the sign standards, which the commission might not have ever seen before specific to signs. So let's go through these. The standards for signs require that the sign be on property. In this case, that's an easy one. It's on the side of a building. So can't have any lighting on the sign. We don't have any negative impacts on drivers. Now, when we wrote the staff report, we said that no lighting was proposed. And after the staff report came out, the applicant brought to our attention that lighting is proposed, and they're planning on having 2 small downlights shine on the sign itself. And so we passed out a memo to the Planning Commission that explained that even with the addition of lights, we still feel that it meets this criteria, and no additional conditions of approval were required for that. Again, the sign can't block the vision of the driver. In this case, it's on the wall, so that's an easy one to satisfy. The sign must, again, complement the structure, and the size and colors in this case work well with the existing structure. Only one wall sign is under the purview of the commission today. The code says you can't have more than 3. And in this case, the 2 wall signs, the 1 monument sign, add up to the 3 signs that they're allowed to have. So they're conforming with that requirement as well. With that, staff concludes my presentation. There's no conditions of approval on this project. And in my 30 years of planning, I've only ever processed one other project that had 0 conditions of approval. But this one seems pretty simple, so there were no conditions there to consider. The staff recommends approval of the project. I don't know if the applicant is available for any questions or has any presentations, but I'm certainly available if you have any questions.
Is the applicant here on the phone or? Okay.
Matt, did you say it's a new owner?
Correct.
New ownership?
Correct. Well, I don't know that they own it. They might be leasing it, but it's a new tenant.
Oh, okay, because the existing sign says MCI
This was MEI,
or MEI.
yeah, or MIE, I forget which, but I think it's MEI.
Yeah.
They have sold out. They've been purchased by this company.
Okay.
And I believe they're based out of Germany, and this is now their North American headquarters. So
Gotcha. Okay, great.
Okay, we'll see if there's any public testimony. If you wish to testify during this hearing, please state your address for the record when you present. You have 3 minutes to speak. If you have any written material or other evidence you would like us to see, please provide it to staff, and the staff will distribute it to members of the commission. Is that Kevin's car?
no, it is not.
We will now ask for testimony for those in favor of the application. Any testimony? How about anyone opposed to the application? Or anyone else who wishes to speak? There being no applicant, there's no rebuttal.
Did we as staff mute those other individuals, or did they mute themselves, Janelle?
I did not mute anyone. They muted
Okay.
themselves.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Good question.
I don't see any requests for continuance or anything. Does the staff have any further comments or clarification regarding this application?
I do not.
How about commissioners? Do you have any questions for the staff or the applicant?
No,
None?
it's probably the first time I've never had a question, right? No,
I wasn't going to say that.
you're not supposed to laugh, Steve.
We're smiling broadly.
Good
I know
one.
we
I'm going to close the public meeting right now. That's my
There we
gavel. Does any commissioner wish to comment or make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve file number SP 20-01 Arena additional sign. Approve it as written based on the conditions of approval.
is there a second?
second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none? It passes. Okay,
Just as a side note, that's a pretty darn big building. Boy, they should be able to have a heck of a lot bigger sign than that, but that's for a later time.
I thought it was a very nice sign, actually.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to see it from the freeway because that's the only place you'll be able to see it from.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, did the applicant want to waive their ability to,
They did want to waive their right to an appeal, but that's nothing that requires an action from the planning commission based on my understanding from Forrest. That's just something that they can tell the city afterwards.
Correct.
And that will let them move forward with their building permits right away. And he's even already crafted the letter and gave it to me. And I kicked it back to him and told him that he gave it to me way too early. He's got to wait till after the hearing to waive his right to an appeal.
great.
So he'll
The reason
probably
I
do
ask-
that tomorrow, and that's fine.
The reason I ask is because I have his building permit here that's already been reviewed and ready to be issued like tomorrow if he waives his right to appeal. So,
That's great. Well, he'll
Ready to
probably do that tomorrow morning.
yep.
And no, and for the benefit of the commission, the new commission members, nobody else has standing to appeal because you have to speak at the hearing or give us a letter prior to the hearing in order to have standing to appeal. So right now, the only person with standing is the applicant. And if they waive that right to their appeal, then they can pull their building permits instead of waiting for the 14-day appeal period to finish out. Sorry, Chair.
That's fine. Okay, city planner update, item F.
We didn't have anything to update. We haven't, oh, hang on. Of course it's accepted now.
Well, that's not what the agenda says.
Oh, sorry, that's right, that's right. No, thank you, Jake. Jake worked with me earlier to put these on, and I completely forgot about it. Feels like forever ago.
I had an old agenda.
We did approve at a staff level a partition for Crooks Creek North, which is a partition that is just north of the Crooks Creek South partition, which was the last one that the Planning Commission saw before we went to a limited land use decision process instead. So this was the first one that we approved at the staff level using that process. We had a second partition, the Wyatt partition, which is off of Alexander, that was approved by staff level also. And then I was going to give an update on the land use code, which is coming to you next Wednesday. We're really excited about that finally coming to a hearing and anxious to hear what you have to say about that. But those are all the updates that I had from staff level. Happy to answer any questions about those.
So Jake, will we be getting all the information we need Wednesday morning, or are you going to send it out earlier, knowing what the city council will be doing or not doing?
So everything we have on the current draft of the code and any forthcoming is all posted on the city's website. I wasn't planning on printing off the draft code simply because I'd be printing off, 7 copies of 350 pages, and then it goes back to the city council in October, and whenever they adopt it, they'll probably make some changes, so then all those copies would be null and void. So if we can stay on a digital side, it would save a lot of paper. If anyone does really need a physical copy, just let me know and I can print one. Otherwise, I'd say under the city services, planning and building, there's a specific spot that says Development Code Update 2020, and that has the current code, and then it has the incoming code with all the maps and everything else. So other than that, I sent out the agenda and the meeting, the staff report for all the meeting for next week. So if you want a physical copy of that, it's 35 or some odd pages, so I can print those, but I wasn't planning on printing a copy of the draft code for everybody.
I didn't want a printed copy. I was just wondering
Right.
if what on the website was up to date for us.
Yep. The website's up to date, and then the agenda and the meeting packet are also on there for viewing.
And we have, staff has, and Connie have reviewed what was on, and we've made some additional changes, modifications to just mostly formatting issues and some minor things that we caught. And that will be completed, so that you'll be able to see that. So if you have questions, that may help you with some of those items. So.
And make sure everyone understands, though, the hearing is on the version that is posted. We compared to all the past notes and found some things and some formatting things that we gave feedback to John on, and asked him to clean that up so we could show you what's been already caught, so you wouldn't have to spend your time in the meeting talking about those things, like, you know, the numbering is off on a section, or you know, there's a figure that doesn't quite match. You can still bring those things up. So I just wanted to send you a copy that has those things addressed ahead of the meeting.
Because our plan is to take all the comments from the Planning Commission and make another version that's going to go to City Council. So we just wanted to kind of lump in these tiny tweaks with that version that is changed by our Planning Commission after the hearing, or during the hearing.
Okay, that sounds reasonable to me.
I have one question. Hey, Matt, Crooks Creek North partition, what's the address on that? Do you, off the top of your head, right?
Oh, hang on, we're looking it up.
We'll pull it up.
It's the one that was on the north side of Crooks Creek, of course,
North.
hence the name.
North. I have a compass on my forehead. No, don't see it.
Address
Oh my gosh.
is 2874 Millersburg Drive.
Oh, 2874.
So that's Steve Helm's property that was recently partitioned last year, that Steve Smith partitioned earlier this year, his
Oh.
portion of it. There's that big new white house being built right up against the street. There's another home
Yes.
going in behind it. So this is the property behind that. So the original parcel, the original home.
Oh, so he broke off some more off of his piece with his house? That's what he did?
Yes, and it's going to connect with a street that goes into the brand new subdivision, which is located right next to it. I don't remember the name of the street.
Here, I can show.
Hang on, we're going to share a screen and show you
Yeah,
more
Cantor Avenue.
specifically. But not only is he going to be bringing his access in from the other side where the subdivision is, and not coming off of Millersburg Drive in any way, but we've also required him to punch through an access point to his neighbor, who is adamant that they don't want to develop, and that's fine. But now he's got a street stub to him, so if that person ever wants to develop, they'll have another access point and not just Millersburg Drive.
So
Where is
what,
Millersburg
oh,
Drive?
sorry, Ann. Sorry, Ann, go ahead. Sorry.
Where is Millersburg Drive here?
Just the very top of the screen. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
So
So
what
they're going to come
ended up,
off of Northeast Cantor Avenue and not Millersburg Drive.
so what is going to end up happening with that easement that Helms owned that he now has to go off of the other street? Remember we had this conversation when Steve Smith did his?
Sure. That easement will continue to remain because the new White House being built off of Millersburg Drive and the property behind that will continue to use that easement. It's our hope that Steve Helms' actual house will eventually take access from Cantor and won't need to access Millersburg Drive anymore, but those two front properties will forever take access from Millersburg Drive.
Okay, understand. So I guess we're not to the point yet where Steve Helms is taking access off of the new subdivision. Because that was the question, remember, was then who's going to own that access?
Right,
When
right. We
he
didn't require Mr. Helms as a condition of approval to take access off of Cantor, I don't believe. So he could continue to use that access easement as long as he wants to, but once that actually builds out, somebody builds out that street, they're going to want to change around their access point.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
You bet.
So Steve Smith gave up everything? He's no longer in the picture?
Oh, no, he's
Well-
building those houses.
Okay.
He said he wasn't going to be developing in Millersburg anymore, but
Yeah,
He's building these two houses. We don't have any other applications from him in for a land use.
finishing up what he started then. Okay. Okay, is there any other discussion for the good of the order at all?
Hey,
She would like it to get back to being in person.
I do like 3D better than 2D, but this works for me right now. Probably our health issues, Steve.
Oh, of course, but I can't wait till we can get back and see
Yes.
people.
Yeah, I agree.
We as well.
Does staff have anything else to add?
I do not. I don't know if Kevin and Janelle do. I think
Just point out that you do have two new commission members.
Oh, should we
We
have
have-
them?
Yeah, tell us about that.
Carol Thomas and Monty Ayers. I don't know if either one of them would like to say anything.
Where do you live?
I live on Caitlin, the end of Caitlin. And again, I'm Monty Ayers. I live on Caitlin and I own a business at the end of Concert, J&H Trucking.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
How long you lived here?
We bought the house, I want to say 5-6 years. I'm terrible at those things.
That's
I owned
okay.
the property for the trucks, I think it's about 7 or 8 years. I was in Millersburg.
Good, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Carol, how about you?
I'm Carol Thomas, and I've lived here just about 3 years now. I love Millersburg, moved from the Portland area, and I live in Woods Estates on Evergreen, and I'm glad to be here. And I joined the Planning Commission because I like to know what's going on, and I have a lot to learn.
It's a very steep curve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm still on that curve, I think. So,
Yes, okay.
we all are. Don't feel bad.
well, thank you and welcome. And I look forward to working with you for the next few months. Just a reminder, our next meeting is next Wednesday, 6 p.m. And it's probably going to be a little longer than this one.
Ooh.
I can almost promise that.
Wow.
So bring your drinks and your snacks to your desk. And
So we're permitted? You're permitting us?
I drink right here.
Take a few breaks too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have the same access code, or we'll receive it, right?
You should have it already in the materials sent out, but Carol, I can send it to you separate if you didn't receive it for some reason.
Yes, okay.
It's a different number than this meeting.
Oh, different
different
one.
Different link, yeah.
It's on the agenda for next Wednesday.
Okay, great.
Okay. Thank you all.
Wednesday? Wednesday or Tuesday? Is it Wednesday, really?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Oh, wow. I'm still on vacation, so give me a break.
Okay. We got a week to get unvacated.
Oh, dear.
Okay, say, Ann, this is Jim. Nice job tonight. You dove right in from
Thank you.
Yes.
point zero and did an awesome job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Awesome.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Hasta la vista, babies.
Good night, everyone.
Night.